What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Virzi Effect podcast show. My name is Paul Virzi. You guys are listening to episode 518, and I had a guest last week. I had a great guest last week, and this week, again, I have another guest, and this is somebody that I really wanted on the show, and we were just talking about before I hit the button, but she's so funny and cool, but I always just found her like down to earth and like normal, but like so funny. She's got a couple of jokes that I love. You guys know her. I think you've seen her on the Tonight Show. She's just one of the funniest. Kelsey Cook is on the show. So thank you so much for being here, Kelsey.
Oh, thanks for having me, Paul. That's so nice of you to say.
Yeah, so we were talking before we started this, and it's like first of all, you have a bit, and I think that this is why it's so funny how comedians are, because you could literally like see one thing and just be like, oh my god, like that's it. Like I love shit like that, you know.
Yeah.
I saw you do it at the stand, and then I saw it online, and I don't know. It's first of all, the joke is hilarious. Your facial expression just hit me hard. The joke you do about the text message
The
where
autocorrect.
where it's like it like is self-corrected or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, and you do that joke and you're telling your friend and it's about a cat, but they think it's about your friend. It's so fucking great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Yeah. It's from my album, which came out like I don't know 3 years ago. It's been out for a while, and I don't do the joke anymore. But I was trying to find things to put on TikTok that wouldn't burn current material.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll just go through my album and put clips up. And that clip ended up getting like 14.6 million views. I could not believe it. I was just like, I don't I don't even do this joke anymore, but I
Yeah.
was so happy that people liked it. And yeah, my poor friend Kelly, now anytime I post a picture of Kelly, everybody's like, is that the dead friend Kelly? You know, like she can never escape it. Now I feel so bad.
Yeah. She's like, you know, Kelsey, you chose this life, not me, and I'm part of it.
Keep me out of your dumb clown shit. And I really sucked her into it. But yeah.
No, what I love about the joke too is like you act it out, and when your facial expressions and the way you're doing it, it brings you there. And it's funny you said that about the TikTok, because it's funny how like jokes that go viral happen like later, because
Yeah.
I have a joke with my daughter where we're having a lightsaber fight and it's supposed to be over, and then she slits my throat, she cuts my head off really with it. And my son was on the phone with his buddy, and his buddy, I hear his buddy on speaker go, is your dad on TikTok? And my son Lucas goes, Dad, are you on TikTok? And I'm like, no. And he goes, well, there's a joke here with millions of views. And I didn't even realize that Comedy Central put, I guess
Oh.
I guess on May 4th, because May the 4th be with you, they put my joke up. And like right now, I think it's got like 5.2 million views. And I would have never known if my son wasn't on the thing. But
Fuck.
and it's so funny that those jokes, but there's something about those jokes. And I wanted to talk about this because you could watch a special, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the goal of a special is to have multiple of those as far as people's memory, right?
Sure.
So
Yeah.
when I think of like Eddie Murphy Raw, Eddie Murphy's my hero.
Yeah.
I do this because of Eddie for sure. And my dad took me and my brother to see Raw when I was like 10 years old in Yonkers. And I just remember being like, well, like this guy's like, this is more than comedy. This is a rock star. Like this was just nuts.
Yeah.
But I remember him doing the joke about coming out of a Rocky movie and how Italians take it seriously. But then I remember his drunk father saying his mother can't leave the house. There was like 4 or 5 things that I remember. And I think jokes like that, jokes like your text joke, or like the lightsaber joke with my daughter, where it's this innocent thing that gets violent. Those are things that strike a chord with people and they remember. And I think that that's like what's really special about somebody's long set.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I didn't realize at the time that it could be something memorable like that, but it is. I think probably the bit that people reference the most with me, or say they found me through that bit. So I just try to encourage comics. It's like, even if you don't think something's going to hit,
Yeah.
throw it online if you don't feel like you're going to burn the material for it being live
Yeah.
on the road, because that ended up getting me, like, I think maybe 250,000 more followers on TikTok just from that video. And then
Wow.
on a business end, that converts to ticket sales, and it
Yeah.
just helps everything. So I always tell people, hey, just throw it up.
Yeah, I think, like I was worried because I got the new special coming out, and I was worried when I wanted to put stuff out there because of pandemic. I was like, I don't want to burn it. But if you have something if you have something that's just funny and quick, I
Yeah.
think it's crazy to not put it out there. Did you get COVID or no?
I did not. I've been really
Never.
fortunate. But
Wow.
did you get COVID?
Yeah, me and my whole family. I got
Oh,
COVID. I got COVID like March 2020, like the week of the lockdown, we got it. So
really? Oh, you got like the old school,
I got
like
the
the
OG.
vintage, yeah, the
Yeah.
throwback COVID. You got
I said, yeah, I said that in my special. I said my COVID's like leaning against the wall, smoking a cigarette right now. Like I started this shit, but yeah, we got it. But what was scary, Kelsey, was I got it so early that like when I was reading reports on it, hospitals were just filling up with hospital beds were done, and people were on ventilators, and I got it worse than my wife and kids. My wife was like groggy for a day, my kids too, but I would get a really bad cough at night, and I couldn't catch it, and it was really weird because it's like, when you cough and you want to get something up, nothing was there. So I was
Oof.
just like, all right, I think I'm okay, because it never. And then once it got to like day 5, I was afraid I'd wake up in the middle of the night and have to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
Like that's what my fear was, because it was, like I said, it was March of 2020.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if I go to the hospital, it could be a wrap. And I was like, nah, but I feel strong. I feel okay. And then once day 5, 6 went along, I lost my smell and taste.
Mm.
And then my wife lost her smell and taste, and then we had it, but then we got antibodies, and I was able to go all over and kind of go to places that had like 50% capacity, like Texas.
Yeah.
I was able to
Mhm.
go to like Arizona, places like that. But
And did
yeah,
your
that's
smell and taste come back?
it did,
Okay.
thank God, because there are some people that it didn't, which is brutal.
Or the people who now anything they eat, it tastes like gasoline or metallic. Have you heard of these people?
Yeah, and like, it's funny that you said what it tastes like, because before I lost it, like as I was losing it, my wife's like, "Oh, I got a good wine," and I love red wine.
Hmm.
And she pours the red wine, and I'm sipping it, and I'm going, "This isn't good. What the fuck are you talking?" Like I was like, I wasn't mad, but I was like, "You said this is good," and it was like and that was when I think it started, because I put like a Dorito in my mouth, and it tasted like cardboard, and I was just like,
And Dorito is like the crack of flavor. I mean,
"Oh,
there's nothing more chemically manufactured to kick you in the dick in terms of flavor than a Dorito. So if that
yeah,
tastes like cardboard, you're like, I mean, I'm not even going to try an apple.
yeah,
Like,
yeah."
this is going to be dog shit. There's no way.
The Dorito is the Michael Jordan of chip. A Dorito is, for me, it's the original Dorito. It's impossible to only have one, and like you said, it's just
Yeah.
such a specific taste
Yeah.
that
You
when
know.
that was off, I was like, "Fuck, this is." I was like, "Man, this sucks." But um,
Yeah.
somebody lost it forever. Like somebody said that their uncle or father still doesn't have their taste back, and like they're talking like a year and a half. For me, that's a nightmare.
How do you go on living?
Yeah, yeah.
It is such a source of joy for me. God, I just can't imagine. My heart breaks for those people.
Are
Like,
you're not Italian at all, right? Are
I'm
you?
not.
No. What
I am
nationalities?
very, I am, I am pale, pasty Irish, just like
Yeah.
Irish, British.
Uh,
Yeah, no Italian.
that's
And
like my wife. My wife is Irish, German, but my wife is Scandinavian, so she's like Swedish, Finnish. Like
okay.
she's all white. Like she's my son Lucas is blonde hair, blue eyes, and looks like his
Okay.
mother. And my daughter Sophia looks more like Mediterranean, because I'm a lot Greek. So
Okay.
my mother's Greek and my father's Sicilian. So
Okay.
my daughter has that, but Lucas is like, my son looks like my wife had an affair in Norway. And like, if you saw my son, I'll see if I could show you through this. It's like
Just an IKEA baby, just
yeah, it's actually,
conceived. Yeah.
I'll try to, I don't know if you could, yeah, it's hard to,
It's so funny that you're saying, "Oh, he's really white," because the exposure on your phone was so intense when you brought up that he literally looked like an angel from heaven.
I'm like,
He
I don't know if
was
you could see this
glowing.
with the video cam. Like my whole family is just bright white. I'll text you a picture.
Okay.
Uh, yeah. Yeah, no, I got scared, but then I was able to, like I said, I was able to go out and do stand up,
Yeah.
which was great. And you know, no, and there were a couple of people judging, like, look at like in their passive aggressive ways, they'd be like,
Right.
look at these comics going out there, and it's like, you don't know you don't know that I am taking all precautions. I have antibodies, like I'm doing everything right, but
Right.
like I'm touring, like I need to, like I have a family, I gotta, you know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
some, you know what I mean? It's like, that's what, as long as, that's why I never judge anybody. As long as people are like doing what they can do, like precaution wise,
Yeah.
and are talking to their doctors and healthy and all that stuff. But that's awesome. You didn't get it.
Yeah, I got really lucky. I just got the booster a few weeks ago, maybe like a month ago now. Yeah, just trying to be as safe and careful as I can be. But God, yeah, touring. My tour started up in end of July, and it's been so constant that I'm like, man, I'm really, in terms of exposure, you're out in the world. You're
Yeah.
trying to be safe. You're wearing a mask, but yeah, it's a lot of travel.
It's probably scarier for you that you never got it, because you're probably like your body is like still like,
Hectic.
yeah, like you're like, shit, I don't want to. And you're on airplanes and stuff. Are you still touring right now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just added a bunch of tour dates for 2022. That was one really great thing that came from this past year is I've been doing stand up for 12 years and I've never had an agent, and then ended up getting one in like May or June, and they've just created this whole tour, and it's been really life-changing to have somebody help in
Yeah.
that way, because before, if you're just on your own emailing bookers, and you're like lucky if you can get something lined up,
Yeah.
and then the deal might not be great, it's just really nice to not have to do that end of it too.
No, 100%. And wow, but you were doing, that's amazing that you're doing pretty good then, if you just got an agent now. And because I know you were working. I mean, I know you were doing like I saw you doing a lot of city spots in New York, but you were getting
Yeah.
shit on your own then.
Well, I opened for Jim Norton on tour for 3 years, and that really helped me
Love
get
Jim.
connected with, clubs on the road. And also toward the end of that is when I did The Tonight Show and This Is Not Happening on Comedy Central. And, the clubs want to feel like you've done something that they can put a logo on a poster and get people to buy some tickets. So that was kind of the trajectory. But yeah, there was a period of a few years between the end of touring with Jim and getting an agent where I was just sending emails, hoping to get
Yeah.
shit lined up. Yeah.
No, it's so nice, and like, such a game changer. Like I love my agent Andrew at William Morris. It's like when they can just hit you, when they just hit you up, and you could kind of do it like, hey man, I'd like to do this, and they do the best they can to get that done. It's like, because we scrapped it out so long alone, and like you said, get taken advantage of, like, because you're like, oh, this sounds, I guess this is good. I'm working. Right.
Mm-hmm.
As all we want to do is like kind of work. And then when you get that, but then all of a sudden you talk to somebody that's been doing it, they're like, that's a fucking horrible deal. Like, that's like, you're making no money
What are
doing
you
this.
doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes that mind shift change at some point. At some point, you have to actually start valuing yourself and not just only feeling like, oh, anything that comes my way is great. You have to switch at some point and go,
Yeah.
yes, I'm grateful for whatever's offered,
Sure.
but is this worth my time and my physical health? Sometimes you'll get offered
Yeah.
gigs where you're like, this is going to kill me to do this.
Yeah.
Like physically, this is a horrible situation for no money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. No, like, and that's what's happening to me. That's what's happening to me now. Little, not like I shouldn't. Well, first of all, I'm a mess. Like I have like I don't even know how, but like I think I have like a fractured rib and I don't know how.
Oh my
And
God.
I have a strained back in my right hip. Like I could barely walk. I don't know but like, it's
I'm
like, I got,
sorry.
yeah, it's like, I'm just, it's a mess. But, um, what you just said is really smart and true. It's like, I need to pick things from my body. Like, I need to pick things from my body that makes sense. Like, sitting on a plane for a certain amount. So like I'm with Delta, so I try to upgrade, but like
Mhm.
that's actually part of it now. Now I'm like, okay, like rest, sleeping, like these are things that like before I was like, dude, I'll sit on the top of the fucking plane. I just want to tell dick jokes. I'll go to a bar in Kentucky. Now I'm like, I kind of want first class in a 5-star hotel. And if I seem like an asshole for that, then okay. But like I've been in this for like 20 years and so yeah, I have to really take into consideration like my kind of rest and relaxation. As much as I sound like a pussy saying that, it's true.
But that's the thing is that's so funny that in our business you even have to think like that,
Yeah.
oh, me saying this makes me sound like a pussy, to want to sleep, to want to have the most basic
Yeah.
form of
Yeah.
human survival, to not get violently ill,
Yeah. Yeah.
is that you're like, I'm sorry, I'm a diva because I
Yeah.
don't want to take a red eye. It's
Yeah.
no, but our,
Yeah.
yeah, our business is like that
Well,
where
we're so used to gigs that aren't good money gigs. I'm
mhm,
sure you've traveled places to where you either broke even or lost money. Like anybody that I
definitely.
talk to that's done comedy that like is really in it and wants to be. But here's the best part about it, Kelsey, is like once we hit that, I think for me it was I don't want to speak for you or anybody else, but for me it was around the 10 and a half year mark where like I truly was the funny Paul off stage, on stage. Like I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, I never faked anything, but as far as truly my voice, like this last special that we shot that's coming out in January, hopefully.
That's exciting. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Like it was one where like everybody, it was just me. Like what I love about it was literally an hour of me, who I am, when I'm playful and silly, when I get a little angry. It was how I am, and that's why I'm so happy with it. And it took a
Yeah.
long time to get there. So all of those horrible experiences that we just talked about kind of get you there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we need to, like, I am really big on saying no right now. Like really, like I'll straight up say like my wife would probably be mad at some of the things I've turned down, like financially. I'm like, no, I'm not doing, like, even though I'm not doing that, you know,
Yeah. Yep.
you have to.
Because if you don't, nobody will. Nobody will value your health for you.
Yeah.
And once you do get agents and managers and stuff like that, and people make money based on your work, you do have to really be clear on, okay, yes, this would make me money to go do this gig and it would make other people money, but at what cost to my health? Because something people forget about too is if you're actively touring, if you fuck yourself over health wise for a week, the domino effect of that doesn't stop. Like you very
Yeah.
rarely get a real amount of time to recover.
Mhm.
So that's why I will do things now, like I will fly in the day before as
Yeah.
opposed to waking up at 4 in the morning
Oh,
to
that's the brutal.
fly to the East Coast and then scramble to get in an Uber and get to the club in time for and then perform for an hour. I like, ugh,
Yeah.
that is so tough. And there are situations where I still occasionally have to do that, but I really try hard now to just say, fuck it. Even if I have to cover the cost of the hotel for the night before,
Yeah.
it is worth it because then I don't feel like a shred of a human being by the time I get there.
Yeah, I do that. I definitely do that sometimes, but being I have kids, like all I want to do is be with my kids. So it's
Yeah.
like all that. So but the mornings are, dude, is what is worse? Yeah, I've actually never had I've been on so many podcasts. I've never talked about this with a comedian. Is anything worse when you have a fucking 6:15 flight and and the alarm goes off? And here's the other thing too. It's hard to fall asleep. Like So you, cause like your inner clock is looking, right? So you're like, all right, so I got like, you ever like lie to yourself? You're like, all right, I got like, if I close my eyes now and I'm out cold, I'll get like 3 hours and 50 minutes. And it never happens anyway. And then you're just a shit bag on the airplane. It's the worst.
Oh my God. The mornings that I have spent after going on like 2, 3 hours of sleep, having an alarm go off at 4 a.m. and getting on a flight and just feeling like you're hallucinating for 5 hours, where you're like, I don't know what time or space are. I don't know who I am. I am just a body on this plane. I have
Yeah. Yeah.
it's that's some of the sickest I've ever felt are those mornings where you are trying to catch a flight, whether it's going to the gig or getting up to go back home,
Yeah.
and you're fucking jacked up on adrenaline through the roof. Now the tour I'm on right now is called the Hustler Tour because I go play foosball against people after the show. So I'm coming off of 2 shows of adrenaline plus foosball. I go back to my hotel room and I just stare at the ceiling at 2 a.m. like,
Yeah.
what is sleep? I'll never know because I cannot get my body to calm down.
I want to talk to you about that too, but yeah, I've been on a plane so tired and miserable. I wasn't afraid if it crashed. I'm not even like, I was just like, whatever's going to happen. If this is going to go down and take me out of it, like there was almost a comforting thing where it's like, I don't want to die because I have a family and I enjoy life, but like, just
whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
whatever's going to happen. There's like turbulence. People are freaking out. I'm like, it's what it is. Maybe this could rock me to fucking sleep.
I relate so hard to that. Yeah.
So Kelsey, one thing too, actually 2 things. I watched something I noticed that you're doing, and I noticed that you do it well. And I remember when I was on the road and it started to like change for me, where it made everything in my comedy better. And I see it with you with the clips that you put out. Because it was around the time I looked at the clip with the texting, but you're doing crowd work a lot more, I see. And I see some of the clips that you're putting out are crowd work. And it's have you noticed that either podcasting has made that easier or better? Because I've noticed that podcasting, we're working a part of our brain or a muscle where you could stop the show. And it also means that obviously you're more experienced, but like you could stop your act. Like you could stop even telling a joke or a story, and then some drunk dude or some drunk woman or something's going on where you're like, let's fuck with this and have fun for a second, and then go back, and then you end up getting a great moment there where you could put a clip out.
Yeah.
And I noticed that with some of the stuff that you were doing, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, she's coming. Like that's a whole other level.
Thank you. That's so interesting to look at if it's from podcasting, because I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It could be from podcasting. I just feel like a flip switched where maybe I just got more confident or comfortable on stage, because this is really my first full headlining tour. I had been out headlining, but not like a proper tour like this where you're going almost every weekend. And
right.
I think once you start doing it and let yourself know that it's okay if not every crowd interaction you have is like, oh shit, like this big mic drop. Sometimes you do have a crowd interaction and you're like, that's not gonna be a clip, but we talked for a second and it was like a little bit of a giggle and I'm gonna move on. But sometimes the more comfortable you get with it, you do get a clip out of it. And it was something my agent told me when we started working together, was try to find ways to get stuff online that is not going to burn material from your current act. And I think that's been a trend in the past couple years, especially as comics looking for crowd work moments, because it doesn't take away from your material and it's a way that people can still find you online.
Yeah, it's a way where you don't have to worry about burning something either for television or a special, yet they could see that you're funny, and they could see that, hey, if I pay a ticket to see her, it's gonna like, oh, this is fun, and you're right, it doesn't have to be like I had a moment in Addison that was like, this guy, everything that I would say, he would be like me too, but it ended up being true. So like I was a Scorpio, he was a Scorpio. Then I was like, shut up. No, you're not. He was like married, like he was Sicilian and Greek, like I was Sicilian and Greek. So it
Yeah.
was like, and then I thought he was, and then it comes to find out, like it happens. Then he's like, when's your birthday? And I was like, November 11th. He's like, November 10th. And it was like true.
What?
And the whole crap, like by the time it was done, it was like pandemonium. It was nuts and it was great. It's like, okay, great. Now I could put something on the YouTube page and do something like that, that I
Yeah.
don't have to burn something, and I could still be putting out content. But um
Yeah.
you are putting out content, and I love talking to you a little bit before. I like the approach of, and I I think that that's why people are like, oh, let me talk to that person, or I like what that person does because maybe it's similar and mimicking me. And I've said this many times, and I don't want to be disrespectful. I'll never knock somebody's hustle. I'll never knock somebody for putting food on their table. I'll never knock somebody for doing what they have to do to move up in a business. It's not my business. However, I could not like that approach, or I could not
Sure.
maybe want to do that approach. And one thing that
Yeah.
I see in what you're doing too is the stuff you're putting out is either it's bits, it's crowd work shit, it's a joke, it's like funny Instagram stuff, but you're not doing that. If I could say gross shit,
Sure.
you're not doing that gross. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you're not doing that gross shit. Hold on, I don't know. I got all these lights on. Yeah, you're not doing that like stupid, like all right, like that'll get hits, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it sounds like people are knocking that, but I'm not knocking that because like I said, I can't get mad. It's just there's just certain things I can't do. Like I'm not going to run out and do like a man on the street or like eat something gross just to
Right.
do some wild shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like and from what I see with you, like I'm never like, oh, Kelsey's going in, like,
Yeah.
and if you were, God bless you. But I guess what I'm saying is I respect the approach.
Oh, thank you.
you know,
Well, it it's exhausting to try to do shit. The way you're saying that you
no,
feel like you're being yourself on stage now. That's
yeah,
how I feel. Like I feel like I've finally gotten more comfortable figuring out how to be online too, to just be yourself. Because I think for
yes,
a long time, people don't know what to put out of themselves and feel like they have to kind of be somebody else. And
that's
um,
yeah.
it's exhausting. And so now I just try to put out what is easy for me because it's just me being myself.
What's who you are? Yeah.
Um, whether that's crowd work clips or clips from the podcast or TikToks, whatever. But I'm also very careful about. I was just listening to a podcast about parasocial relationships and how people who are like viral online a lot of the time are vloggers, right? And they're really letting people into their lives, and they were saying that that vulnerability gets rewarded, and bringing people into a place in your life where maybe it really painful or just really like giving people a lot of you gets rewarded, and people like that feeling. But I'm always like, at what cost?
Sure.
Because once you bring people in, it's a lot harder to draw boundaries. So I'm also very careful of,
Right.
I will show people parts of my lives, but people don't get it. Like I'm not vlogging my
No.
day to day all day.
No.
It's yeah.
No. It's you gotta, I always protect my kids from, I had somebody say to me, somebody reached out that like does this for a living and was like, "Hey man, that was a nice picture, but get your son and daughter off, like don't do that with your son and daughter just because it's something that, and not that I would ever like if they were like dancing in the kitchen, we're having a good time, something like that, but I really try to keep like and not that I have all these fans or like stalkers, but I don't want to make my life that's what is um sacred to me. I guess sacred is
Yeah.
the word. Like I don't
Yeah, it
want that
is.
out, but you made a good point because when I talked about the depression and the anxiety and a lot of the stuff that I had, especially when I did Ryan, Ryan Sickler.
Yes, I love
How
Honeydew.
how great is that dude? Yeah. So
Love Ryan.
I
Yeah.
did the honeydew, and like the honeydew went viral. The honeydew I did went viral because I talked about my experience with what I went through for like 90 days in 2016 with the depression and everything. And the
Yeah.
amount of people that were like, thank you. And I've talked about it on other podcasts too, where people are like, I didn't realize it was okay, man. And I really appreciate that. I'll do stuff like that. I'll
Yeah.
do stuff like where I'll talk about like, hey man, if you're going through this, it's okay to talk to somebody. Or if you feel, that in this dark place you're not alone, or things like that. But as far as like, I'm not gonna like, eat something gross and like do something like viral and be like, yeah, come and see me at the Funny Bone. Like, I'm not like, I'm just, that is so gross to me that like I would rather like wait for my special to come out and do it, even if it's the longer road, but it's
Right.
like the way that I want to do it. Cause I'm seeing,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to call anybody out, but I mean, I'm seeing guys that I like know doing stuff where I want to call them up and be like, are you good? Like, are you okay? Like, as soon as somebody dyes their hair, I'm like, dude, this is if your hair goes blue or like pink during a pandemic, I'm like, yo, this is fucked up. Like, they need a phone call from somebody.
Someone needs to check in. Yeah, Instagram filters on the stories, boy, they fucking tempt people, because I was throwing someone's on my filter just for fun, and I was like, oh shit, I actually like, I kind of like this, and everybody in my DMs was like, do not go down this road. Like, there's no dyeing hair cotton candy colors. Like, do not do it. And I was like, you're right, you're right. Like, just a little pandemic week moment of these filters tempting you. But yeah, if you like actually get into that,
Hey, like I said, like I'm not judging, but like there's because what's funny is when we weren't working, I saw who lost their minds. Like when nobody could work, like when there was like five
didn't we
months.
all see who lost their
Yeah,
minds?
yeah, like
Instagram was like, holy shit.
when we had like those 5 6 months of people just having to be home, I was like, oh, that's their mental state. Like that's what they've been going through. Like, okay, I'm gonna look at them all differently. No, I'm kidding. But so I want to talk to you about your background. Your background's crazy.
Yeah.
For people that don't know, listening to the Virzi Effect, my listeners, Kelsey Cook is not only a hilarious comedian, her background is wild, where her mother and father met at a professional foosball tournament, and
Mm-hmm.
they are both professional players, correct? Is that correct?
My dad doesn't play anymore, but my mom is still like ranked and in the Foosball Hall of Fame. My
What?
dad is still very good, but he doesn't compete.
Your mother is a Hall of Famer.
She's in the Hall of Fame of foosball. Yep.
Where is the Foosball Hall of Fame?
Vegas, baby. Where else?
And what is it? Is there a yo-yo thing that I read?
Yeah. So my dad is, excuse me, he was an international yo-yo man. And so he would like travel overseas and do yo-yo shows and demos and stuff. He is also a slam poetry champion. He is the current poet laureate here in Spokane, Washington. Like, he is just, and
What?
then like his career is that he's a trumpet player in the Spokane Symphony. So my family, it's just a circus. Like, everybody's just a clown. It's just big
Wait a
shoes
minute.
and red
Wait a
noses.
minute. Your dad is like a renaissance man of some of the most wildest talents. Like
Yes.
so your dad could fuck with a yo-yo like crazy.
Yeah.
Like the light ones in the dark. You ever do that
Oh
shit?
yeah. He can do like where he drops it and then we'll do like make a spider web out of the string or rock the baby in the cradle. He can do two hands at once. It's like a whole thing.
Now you are like on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as professional. Where are you in the foosball? Are you a professional or no?
So there are rankings in the foosball world where
By the way, I hope
in
I'm not
order to
boring
move
you with
up
this
into
shit.
Oh my god, never. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
It's
All right.
the thing I love to talk about the most is foosball.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Well, I listen, my fans, I mean, my listeners, like probably I've never had a comedian on here that has a skill at that level of something like that. So
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Oh no, totally fine. So you, in order to move up and be ranked a pro within the ITSF, so the International Table Soccer Federation,
Okay.
you have to be playing a lot. Like you have to be actively going on
Oh, okay.
the foosball tour basically, and playing a lot and winning. So I was never at a place in my life where I could really devote that time to it, because I would go to maybe 2, 3 major tournaments a year growing up, like through high school. But then once I got into college, that's when I started comedy. And you gotta pick one weird thing. Like I couldn't be actively pursuing comedy and foosball, because if you're gonna make it at one of them, you gotta give it your whole life. So comedy
Yeah.
became the thing
Right.
I it fully invested in. So I've never been able to go to the tournaments enough and compete enough to become like ranked as a pro. I can't remember what my rank is at this point. My mom and I won women's expert doubles in Vegas maybe like 4 years ago, 3, 4 years ago,
Wow.
and that might have helped a little bit. But um, the thing is, like, I will go and I've ended up in the finals of women's expert singles maybe 2 or 3 times, but I get second place a lot. I have trouble closing, which is so frustrating. But like I can still go and hold my own for the most part, even though I'm not actively on tour. But I'm not like, I don't think anybody walks in and sees me and is like, oh, she's gonna be tough to beat. Like there are so many women there that are fucking so good, like really, really good players.
Wow. So that's so, but like on average I mean, can you beat your mother or no?
Yeah. But just because I think now over the years, she's like in her late 60s, and so you slow down a little bit, and
Yeah.
I play fast. She can still, she's been able to beat me in recent years, but it kind of goes back and forth now.
Is there a shit talking thing in the Cook household about this or?
I mean, a little bit. Yeah, like we don't talk that much shit with each other, but we know how to talk shit on the foosball table with other people.
So now you're doing stand up and then you're going and you're playing against audience members.
Yeah.
So, so are you requiring the green room to have like like what's going on? Like,
No, oh, that'd be funny if that was part of my rider. Just like this, such a nerdy diva shit thing to do. No,
uh,
but we decided to market this tour as the Hustler Tour because I wanted to be able to keep incorporating the foosball aspect. My web series called Wrists of Fury, which is through all things comedy.
yeah,
It is coming back in a couple weeks. I'm so excited. There are 23 episodes on YouTube, and we had to stop during the pandemic. So we just were able to shoot a bunch of new episodes that will be coming out. Dan Soder and Big J Okerson are the first
nice.
episode coming back. So I wanted to keep incorporating foosball because I knew that Wrists of Fury would come back at some point. And
Sure.
so now I every city I go to, I look up before the shows where there are bars nearby that have foosball tables, and then on stage I do a joke about all the foosball stuff, and then I say, if anybody here wants to play afterward, I'm going to be at this bar. uh Even if you don't want to play me, if you want to come and like help be part of the hustle where I can pretend like I've never played before, and you can help me find just drunk dudes at the bar that want to play. And it's been so fun. The last couple cities, I've gotten people to play me for $100, and that is now just the most addicting thing ever. Like I don't want to play for anything less than $100 now.
That's amazing. Have you been did no none of the comedians on Wrist of Fury beat you, did they?
No.
Has anybody come close?
Nick Thune was probably the best in terms of skill, but yeah, no one has beat me in like the full
Like
show, the
like
full
and
production.
what is it? What's like when you did it on the episodes? How many? What does it go up to? Did you
So
cut
you
it
play to
short?
five. You play to five, and it's we do 3 rounds. In the middle round, I always severely handicap myself to try to make it easier for them to win. So I've played blindfolded. I've played handcuffed. I play with my arms behind my back, where they start with 4 points. So there have been a few people that have been able to beat me in that round because
That's
it's just
hilarious.
like we want to change it up and make it more
Yeah.
interesting. But yeah, nobody's able to like beat me in a proper game.
Um, be careful, like just like with random guys, like like random people on the road. Like if anybody wants to meet me at a bar, as soon as you said that, I was just like,
Oh, I don't like go by myself though. I always have my
yeah,
feature with
yeah,
me,
yeah,
and yeah, no, I am like very, very.
yeah. Like I was like, Kelsey doesn't give a fuck.
Oh, no, no, no. I like. There's no like.
Yeah.
Hey, I know some comics. I think more male comics are like cool with just like maybe hanging out with audience members after the show. I never just go hang out with people. But I always have my feature comic with me, and like I'll play a couple games and then go.
You have the same people open for you or no?
There's usually a group of friends of mine that I try to divvy some shows up
Yeah.
with, depending on like where the location is, remember where they live. But yeah.
Yeah. That's I do the same thing. Do you have like a road routine? Like when you like, are you like on a
Yeah,
Saturday night? Yeah.
I'm trying to get better about that. I'm trying to like use the hotel gym more. You know, and it's like never that exciting.
So
Like, just
yeah.
trying to take care of myself. I try to get outside, go on a walk, get good food. I started to get massages sometimes now in cities, and that is a nice little like trying to keep my sanity and still feel good, even if I'm in a place that's just totally random in the middle of nowhere.
Um, yeah, I try to do some like relaxing shit. I
Mm-hmm.
like either like a steam room or a sauna or but I will say this, I am turning into a little bit of a I need the hotel to be nice. I've turned into
Mm-hmm.
that. I've turned into that. Like it's
Uh-huh.
like if I'm away from my kids and my family, it's like I want it to be like a nice, like I was in Houston not long ago. And I believe, I don't know if it was a Sheraton. It was like, it was top notch, like almost 5 star. It
Wow,
was
yeah.
like just top, not like a sauna, steam room, spa. Like the
Wow.
rooms were nice. Like I like a robe and slippers, even when I don't use them. Like I'm
Sure.
not using them. I'm not using them, but the
But I need him
fact,
to be there.
the gesture is what I'm like, I could fuck with this. So
Mm-hmm.
I've turned into that, which is like, and I might even pay more. I'll pay more
Yeah.
for that. Like if it's a
Yeah.
little bit off the thing, it's like, why do you have a regular airline you use or no?
I I get upgraded to first class on Alaska a lot because they are
Last,
a
oh, it
very
comes
like
out. Yeah,
west
yeah,
coast.
yeah,
But um everybody says that Delta is their favorite. I'm trying to fly Delta more.
yeah.
Uh so Alaska and Delta are kind of my two favorites. Don't love United, but I end up on a lot of Uniteds because they got a lot of hubs. But yeah.
I can't fuck with United. They stranded me once, and I mean,
Oh.
I'm a Delta guy. Delta's like Delta. Their upgrades, they're really fair. I
Yeah.
definitely like that. But I took the month of December. I'm off all month. So
Yeah,
I
I'm not do I have one corporate gig in New York City, but other than that, I was like, I'm not doing stuff.
I did a corporate. Oh my God. It was so I think I mentioned it before. So I'll just tell you real quick.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy money, right? And I had to
Mm-hmm.
say yes to it. So I'm like, all right, I gotta say yes to that. And I go to this thing, it's on like the 20, it's on like the 20th floor. It's like, oh, you see the Empire State Building, all the stupid shit they say, right?
Yeah.
I get off the elevator, Kelsey, and it is like a cocktail party of people that haven't seen each other in a long time that are just having socializing. There's music, like I'm just going, and I see this little stage.
No.
Yeah. And then 4 speakers speak for this company, and then they did a lifetime achievement award for an old man who was like the top guy, and like they give it to this old, he was like this old man, and they show a video of him and his family, and they show like all of his accomplishments, and people just want to drink cocktails, and then they go, this guy goes, all right, we're gonna change it up now. I do a little 180. We got 2 great comedians coming. And first comedian goes up, and she was like, I'm going to do crowd work. I'm going to get people going. And these people were so rude and talking. And then there were the people that like hired us that were like trying to, them and their friends and family were like trying to, and I'm just like assessing the whole thing. And I'm going, all right, well, look, you go up and you're going to do this. I go up. And when I tell you it was a fight, like I had moments where I would start getting them and then it would, and then you think, when you think it's over, you're like, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. But then it just goes down. And then I could hear people just drinking and talking. And it was like doing comedy. It was like doing comedy at a wedding cocktail hour where half the people tried to watch and like you and the other people. And I'm literally looking at the guy booking me and he's looking at me like, I'm so sorry. And part of me was going to just say like I could have just went in and been like, fuck these. And I'm like, they're paying me good. Like I want to, and I ended up getting through it. But for anybody listening, those corporate gigs come with the price. And I mean, I'm not talking about the money. It is.
No, to your
Yeah.
soul. Yeah.
To your soul. Yeah. To a memory that's burned in your brain. But here's the thing. Now I know it's like, all right, here's the deal. I'm not doing this shit. Is it funny? You ever go to a gig and in your mind, you're like, all right, this is never again. I'm telling them this. I'm never doing this again. And I just said, I was like, look, people need to know a comedy show. How about you give the Lifetime Achievement Award after the comedy? You know what I mean?
God.
But so as soon as you said corporate gig in New York, it just brought me there.
Yeah. I'm not thinking that it's going to be a good time. It's really not. I'm going to just be watching the clock tick to get the paycheck.
I'm sure yours will be better than mine. So I hope I'm not trying to do that, but like you'll have a better experience, I'm sure.
I'm performing for college football players.
Oh, never mind. It's going to be, yeah, and here's how they get us. They get us with these gigs because the pay is great. The pay is great. And they're like, hey, they're going to love you. Like, and you're like, all right, the pay is good. And then all of a sudden you walk in and you're like, wait, this is for who?
It's going to be tough. But I do have a spot at the stand afterwards. So I'm just telling myself, like, no matter what happens at this corporate gig, just go then afterward and like go to your home, basically.
Yeah, the stand has been really, really phenomenal. But I decided, and it's one of the greatest things I did was I'm like, you know what? My tour is over. My special is in a can. My special is being edited right now. I'm taking December off. I'm done. I'm going to be home for the holidays with my family, with my kids. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to the Punchline in Atlanta, January 7th. That's the next time I get on an airplane. Yeah. So I'll probably do spots in the city in early January, but like being home, doing nothing. I mean, I'm doing podcasts and I'm doing the business stuff with the special.
Yeah.
What do you have coming up? Are you doing a special? Or are you doing a album or anything?
So my agency managers and I have been kind of talking about that lately, like what we want to have happen with this hour. So I'm in the process of figuring out what we want to do. But I've really been enjoying being on the road. I'm having so much fun on stage. It's really great to get to meet people after the show who have been maybe listening to my podcast Self Helpless for like almost 5 years, or it's so cool because you don't meet these people necessarily unless you go to their city and then they come up to you when they're buying a shirt and get to tell you what your work can mean to them. And it's nice. So yeah, I've been having a good time.
Nothing is better than when podcast fans come out to a show because the podcast fans, they know you almost like in this way that's different than just somebody that saw a clip. They're like, oh, that thing you said, it meant a lot to me. I listen all the time. Thank you. You get me through my work week.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Yeah.
Because and you do that with two others or one other?
So with Taylor Tomlinson and Delaney Fisher, Taylor stepped away from the podcast in this past year a little bit, but she still pops in from time to time to do episodes. But yeah, we're still going strong and loving doing it. So it's Self Helpless. It's also through All Things Comedy. And yeah, you guys can check it out online.
That's awesome. And you have dates coming up that you want to plug?
I do. Yeah. So when does this come out?
We're probably going to have this out late at the end of the week.
Okay, great. So my 2022 tour dates are up on kelseycook.com right now, and more are continuing to get added. But I will be in Albany in January, and also at the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut, Comics Roadhouse.
Yep.
So those two, and then February I'm in Fort Wayne, Indiana for Valentine's weekend, and is it Syracuse that got added to that, or Hartford? Anyway, there's so many cities coming up. So just go to kelseycook.com. I'm sure that I will be coming somewhere near where you are.
So you got a whole thing coming up in 22. That's awesome. Yeah, no, that's great. So go to kelseycook.com. Check out, is it Self-Helpless?
Self-Helpless and Risks of Fury for the foosball web series.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to be at the Punchline in Atlanta, January 6th. January 7th through the 9th. So you can go to paulvirzi.com. I'm going to have a bunch of different dates. I got Rhode Island coming up. I have, I'm going to Fairfield. I'm going to be in Austin, Texas. I got a bunch of stuff coming up. So you just check out paulvirzi.com. Check out the Anything Better podcast. Obviously the Virzi Effect. And I want to thank my guest, Kelsey Cook. So funny, so great. Go see her. I've been doing this a long time, and I see what she's doing, and she's definitely coming, man. She's so funny, and she will whoop that ass in foosball after making you laugh your ass off. So she's gonna give it to you twice. But thank you so much. Thank you guys for listening, and until next week, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you guys soon.